All right, my friend, welcome to the next episode in the Fit at Home podcast. Where when it comes to getting the best shape of your life, there's no place like home. As always, I'm Matt Schifferle from the Red Delta Project. And with my co pilot here, Al Painter, we've got our top tips of the week to bring your home diet and exercise routine to the next level and beyond. So, Al, what's new in your world?
I'm picking up loads and I'm walking with them again. It's been a while, and I put them back in sandbag, Zercher style, shoulders style, loaded carry, down low, rack position, whatever I can think of. I am carrying it because, and kiddos, I don't know if you guys can hear them or not,
Yep.
but I'm trying to pick up everything I can and walk because it's efficient. I want to hit a whole bunch of muscles at once, and I don't know, something new. Well, something back in program.
Well, it's also
I
very
like it,
practical too. Like if you think
right?
about it, in the real world, we don't ever pick something up to put it back down again. We pick stuff up to carry it. So a lot of times, people pick up and put it down and pick it up and put it down. But you ask them to like move a sofa or something up a staircase or something, and it's like, oh, I can't. My back, my grip. Oh, I can't quite
Yeah,
make it happen. So carries are definitely a very practical thing we should be including in our programs.
yeah, and I definitely one of the things that is a really nice side effect, and for mountain bikers out there, you'll like this too, is I have a lot more grip strength and a lot more of that kind of static trunk
Yeah.
control and ability to brace it and fire it up. So,
Yep.
for instance, this past weekend, oh, bad, I'm telling you, man. We went on a mountain bike ride that tested both the integrity of the machine I was on and the rider that was riding it. I
Yeah.
mean, it was like drops and stunts and rocks and roots and all this super technical stuff. And I was just like, oh my God, I hope I live. But being able to go into a loose switchback at a V angle, and you know how much fun that can be,
Oh
and
yeah.
be able to just lock down my midsection, right? So I can either ratchet pedal or just slow pedal through and really just bring the elbow into tuck to make the turn. Boy, I tell you, it made a big difference.
Yeah, you got to have that type of isometric strength. Usually we equate strength and physical ability with creating movement, but a lot of times we spend just as much energy in our muscles to prevent movement or at least to control movement and speed. Here at the gym, we do a lot of power training. Tuesday is like power days. And some of the exercises aren't so much about creating power and like an explosive movement, but actually about controlling power as in stopping movement, like landing from a box jump or trying to catch something and keep the body nice and rigid rather than just kind of wet noodling all over the place. So that control is really where it's at. It's not just about creating movement, but that full control. And yeah, the carries are great for that. Isometrics are really good for that. We talked about that, and just being aware of how all of your body connects together, using it in an integrated way rather than a piecemeal isometric or isolated way is it's all goes together and making that happen.
Agreed. Agreed.
Cool.
Agreed.
So let's jump into our tips of the week here. So we'll go right off into our workout tips. These are the best tips we've got to bring your workouts to the next level. Al, what is your workout tip? I mean, we've already been talking about carries and stuff, but what else you got here for
Sure.
me?
Tip for the week for folks to give a shot to in the next 7 days is to push and pull in a half kneeling position.
Mm,
And means, in the old school team picture pose, right? Where don't smile. Everybody's like,
mm,
right? In
mm,
the team picture
mm.
pose, don't smile. And of course, I was always in the front, right? I always have the super tall guys in the back, and I was always in the front, the guy with his legs crossed, not trying to smile.
Yep.
always, always. Anyway, yeah, do it half kneeling, especially with cable and exercise band pushing and pulling, because that really connects your diagonals quite a bit, right? So if you're pulling and pushing out of a 90-90 position with the knees half kneeling position, if you drag your front foot back like you're trying to scrape the skin off your toes, it's
Hmm.
going to pull your pelvis underneath you more, and it's going to clamp down your glutes, which is going to work itself all the way up the chain. And then more grip strength, that irradiation is just going to lock things down even more. And then increased glute strength, that increased trunk control. You're hitting diagonal patterns with your legs and you can drive more force and more strength into the movement. You won't be able to go as fast, but that's okay. Because
Yeah.
if you can do it slow with strength, you can do, or in a big load, you can do it quickly with a lighter load kind of thing. I love 90-90 positions for everything, for cyclists and runners who just on occasion may have tight quads or hip flexors. I don't know if that ever happens to any cyclists or runners that you know, Matt, but hey,
Oh,
triathletes.
never.
That 90-90 position is really, really good to not only hit the glutes and the core diagonally and resist that lateral rotation that Matt was talking about, but to also potentially get a lengthening of the hip flexors and the quads while your glutes contract and shorten, right? You have to have something lengthened so something can shorten. And we know notoriously runners and riders and triathletes have horribly tight hip flexors because that's just what they do. They sit and they go do their thing. Get your glutes strong, right? So then again, that push-pull, I mean, you're going to just literally, there's a muscle fiber in your body. It will work in a 90-90 push-pull. I mean, even if you go overhead with loads, or even if you just go down to a 90-degree angle, even without anything in your hands, and you just try to pull back on that front foot as hard as you can, and maybe drive that front knee forward as hard as you can, and then spread it, crush it, spread, in and out with I mean,
pinching the floor. Bunch of stuff. And pinching the floor, you're just creating a ton of rigidity in your entire body. As I always tell people here, like every exercise is a full body exercise. Like every muscle you've got, every exercise, use everything. And that position where you've got your front foot is flat on the ground, and then you're on your knee that's directly underneath your hips. So it's kind of like the bottom of a lunge position. Like that's a position we should all be very comfortable in, very stable, very strong, but you're not going to do it passively. You need to be able to make sure everything's tight and locked in as rigid as you can. Core, your hips, your feet, I mean, hell, even your toes, making sure everything's connected, and that's going to just carry over to everything else that you're doing. Yeah, very good. That's a position you don't find people in very much either, but it keeps you strict. Right? It keeps you strict with that upper body. So you're pushing, you're pulling and stuff, but it's funny when you're laying down or when you're standing, there's a lot the lower body contributes and into either compensation, or you've got movement down there, and it's just oftentimes not being used in a productive way. But in that locked in, like the bottom of the lunge position, one knee is on the ground, one foot is on the ground, that just takes everything right out of the picture. So those upper body muscles have to work so much harder as well. It's just an all-around win-win. You get so much more. And all you're doing is changing the position. You're not adding exercises. You're not doing any additional techniques or anything. You're just simply doing things to a more productive way. Mm-hmm. Very good. My tip of the week is get your pain handled. Get your pain taken care of. Now, this is one I'm saying almost as much as my benefit as anything else, but the thing is, and maybe it's an American thing, but here in America, we love to handle pain. Like you could break someone's arm and they could be like, oh, it's fine. I'll just, walk it off kind of thing. And it drives me crazy when people in the gym, they're like, oh yeah, my wrists have just been killing me, or my knees are bothering me, or my lower back or something. How long has it been happening? 5 years, kind of thing. It's like, oh, it's always there. It's like, no, the bottom line is pain doesn't make you tougher. It doesn't make you more macho or badass by handling or anything. It holds you back. It is a literal just like, in those video games where you take things that you think are medicine, it actually is poison. It reduces your health and makes you weaker and stuff. That's exactly what pain is. Pain is weakness, period. It's going to keep you weak. It's going to keep you from doing your best. It's going to prevent you from getting the results you want. Pain is just all around bad. It's not going to help you. And it drives me crazy when people just say, well, I guess that's my age, or, oh, I ran for 6 months or whatever. I guess my knees are shot to hell for the rest of my life or whatever it is. Never accept pain. Get it fixed. And it's funny how we don't have this attitude with anything else in life. Like if your car has a flat tire, you get it fixed. If your computer has a virus, you get it fixed. If your stove blows up, in your kitchen and you set fire to the ceiling, as I've done on my own back in the day, you get it fixed. Yet there's something about the body where we'll experience discomfort and pain and we'll just be like, I can live with it. If I take a bottle of Advil and warm up for 3 hours and stretch and stuff, then I'm able to get a good workout in. It's like pain is not normal. It's not normal. It's not
No.
natural. It's something we have to address. So if you're dealing with pain in your joints or something like that, don't ask me, is there a workaround for it? No, there's not. Whatever you do that works around it is going to be less effective than what you would have been doing otherwise. It's a second rate approach at best. So if you can get that pain fixed, taken care of, and done with, get it in your past. Don't just accept it and think, oh, I'll just deal with it and I'll be strong and tough and macho that way, because it's only going to make you weaker, slower, and less productive in your workouts. Plus, it
Yeah,
hurts.
and oh yeah, right. And then to an extent, your nervous system is going to shut down a lot of the force generation capability around that pain point, right?
Absolutely.
So you're going to leak power. So if you're an endurance or a power sport athlete, or even an endurance, I should say even endurance, but endurance athletes especially, right? You leak power over the long haul of a ride, run or swim.
Yep.
That's not good. You know, I mean, your body gives you the pain as a way of saying, stop doing the thing. And then if you don't stop doing the thing, you magically start developing pain in other areas, which is weird. And I don't really know how that happens, given that if you change the angle of one joint with a muscle imbalance, you will always change another angle somewhere else. That it never fails, right? Right shoulder's higher, left hip's going to be higher. Right shoulder's internally rotated, left hip's going to be internally rotated. You can't just do one thing. I would even argue that you screw up a finger, it's going to go up into your elbow, into your shoulder, because it's going to compromise the way your hand works, right? So you have to take the whole picture. The body is an integrated movement machine. It works in concert. So you can't have one part that's broken or not working as well and have all the other ones work, right? It would be like if the person doing the violin in the orchestra and the I apologize to violin players around the world for this if I get this wrong, but the neck on the violin breaks and maybe a string comes out, that's not going to work the same way.
No. Pain is unacceptable. Bottom line. And don't, like, a lot of times in fitness, we talk about pain, like, oh, that workout hurts so much and pain is weakness leaving the body. That's not pain. That's actually not pain. That's discomfort. Totally different thing. When I'm riding my bike up Lookout Mountain and I feel like I'm bleeding from the eyes and going to cough up a lung afterwards, I'll be like, oh my God, that hurts so much. It's not pain. That's discomfort. There's a big, big difference. Discomfort is fine. That means you're kind of pushing yourself and stuff. But pain is Mother Nature's way of saying you're screwing something up. I'm going to hold you back. I'm going to prevent you from getting what you want, no matter how hard you work. There is no workaround. No matter what, you're going to be basically coming to the plate with 2 strikes against you every single workout. It's not going to be as good. You want to really make bigger progress in your workouts, get pain handled. Because the second you can figure out what's causing it, whether it's an imbalance or an injury or something, the moment you start doing that, it's like taking the brakes off the bicycle and you're just going to fly. And everything you want is going to come a lot faster and a hell of a lot easier, just because you're getting rid of that serious handicap.
Yes. And if you are going to get your pain checked, which you should, have the person look, whoever checks you out, at where the pain is just a manifestation of something. And unless there's an acute injury, in my experience, what I have seen is that a tight shoulder will lead to a funky wrist, right? Or a tight hip will lead to back issues. So just because you have a pain in a particular spot, that's where it's manifesting. And that's where it originates. So make sure that the person's looking at your entire chain of movement to make sure that one part wasn't out of alignment, that then threw another one out of alignment, and then your body said, hey, here's some pain to let you know something's out of alignment.
Yeah. And you mentioned something that is really important to touch on to close out on this segment here, Alice. Get it checked out in person. The internet is a horrifically bad place to self-diagnose. I mean, I would even go so far as to say you're worse off going on the internet than doing nothing. because no matter what you find on the internet, it's a wild guess at best. Chances are really good it's going to be worse and going down the wrong path than what you want. I get people asking me all the time, this hurts, that hurts. What do I do? I'm like, what the hell are you asking me for? Go see a doctor, go see your physical
Right?
therapist. The internet is a terrible place to try and diagnose and assess what you should be doing with pain. It is horrible and it's terribly inefficient too. I spent years trying to figure out my hip pain and my back pain. And I'm literally saying years of massage and exercises I'm finding online. I go to the chiropractor, in 1 week, it was gone because someone actually looked at me. And of course, even me, I'm a fitness guy. And I'm like,
Right?
well, this is the pain and this is probably what it is. Like, it has nothing to do with what you think it is. It is absolutely nothing to do with what you're looking. Everything you've been doing has been a complete waste of time for 2 years. You've had 2 years of bad bike rides and bad workouts and knee pain and hip pain and bad nights of sleep. All those 2 years, complete waste of time. You could have avoided it all if you just came to see me in the first place. We'd have it fixed in a week. That's exactly what happens when you check stuff out on the internet. See it in person, folks. I speak from experience here. Learn from my experience. All
But
right.
getting fitness information on the internet, especially from the Fit at Home podcast, is a really good idea. That's a good idea. So let's
As I
not,
like to
let's
say,
make sure.
the internet's a good place for ideas, horrible place for solutions. Terrible place for solutions. The smart people use the internet for facts. They're like, when did Star Wars come out? What's a good
1977.
risotto recipe or something? But when you need actual solutions to what ails you in life, the internet is horrible. It's terrible at knowing what the hell is actually going on. But anyway, you got me started. So let's go on to our dietary tips here because I'm getting hungry. It's time to talk about food here. So here's my dietary tip, and this is kind of a canary in the coal mine that I often encourage people to pay attention to, because there are a lot of people who ask me about dietary strategies like meal timing and what should I eat and what should I do this and stuff. One of the things that, first off, the hell if I know, like, everybody's different. The only way to know is through some trial and error. But the thing to pay very close attention to, which again, I find a lot of people ignore at their own peril, is pay attention to your post-meal energy level. You go out and have dinner, you have lunch, you have a snack, whatever it is. What's your energy level like following that feeding session? Because there's a lot of things to come into play. There's portion size, there's what are you eating, there's how fast you're eating, did you wait too long to eat, all these sorts of things. Healthy dietary habits will promote energy. They'll make you feel good after eating. You're like, hey, I'm kind of feeling like I could go for a run, or oh, my mind is so sharp and clear, I'm going to get a lot of work done and stuff. And high energy is indicative of healthy eating habits. Poor energy, like you just go and you eat, and then an hour later, you're like, I am totally dragging here. I need to take a nap. Something's off about your diet. Something, the portion size or whatever, maybe a little too much processed foods, a little too much, not enough fruits and vegetables, whatever it is. But that's the canary in the coal mine. Good energy, you're on the right track. Poor energy, something's got to change. That's the thing we want to be paying attention to more than anything else when it comes to diet, is what is your post-meal energy level like?
Do you know what you, I mean, I guess for lack of a better analogy or term, your metabolic type is, in terms of like, are you kind of a more protein kind of person, or do you do better with kind of more carbohydrates, or are you a combination of the two?
It's always so hard to tell because there's so many nuanced factors that come into play with that. I've even seen people switch over the years. But in general, I find that people who are more of a slight ectomorphic style build tend to do better with more carbohydrate in the diet. You take too much carbohydrate in the diet and they get slow, they get sluggish, their workout performance starts to suffer. Like they're like, I feel great on this diet. We go out for a bike ride and 20 minutes later, they're like, dude, I'm dragging here. It's like, it's only been 20 minutes. So typically that's the case in individuals who are more of the endomorphic side of the spectrum, kind of the power lifter, quote unquote, husky, I guess some people would refer to. They typically do better with less carbohydrate, more of the fat-based type of approach to dietary habits. And again, this will go with energy. Like I see people all the time, they follow conventional advice, people saying, don't eat this kind of food, or don't eat, or do this type of dieting and stuff like that. And then they get off of that and they're like, I feel great not doing that diet. I'm like, yeah, that diet wasn't healthy for you because your energy level was in the toilet when we went on that bike ride. They're like, no, the science says this is the best way to eat. Well, clearly not if you feel like crap on it.
Right.
But the science, your experience should overrule the science. The science is a guessing game. Your experience is telling you what's actually going on. I can tell you all the science in the world on why you need to wear a jacket in January, but if you're having a heat wave and you're sweating your sock off, don't wear a parka when it's 80 degrees out, like it was here in January here in Denver. If you're hot, take your coat off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing. Do what's best for you. Yep. All right. And Al, what's your dietary tip of the week?
My dietary tip of the week, it's got a couple different components to it. One is you're going to need a drawer in your kitchen. And it's going to have the ability to open and close. So what I want you to try, listeners, one time, just once, in the next 7 days, get this thing here, right? A little machine that helps you find the rest of the planet. Put it in the drawer, close the drawer. Get some food, some healthy food, and go to a park and have a picnic. Go outside and eat. One time, even if you're only there for like 10 minutes, okay? We know that eating around a bunch of screens, you can't consciously pay attention to what you're eating, so your satiety level could be played with. You're not going to enjoy your meal as much. But when you're out in a park having a picnic, there's an inherent relaxation mindset, and you just kind of, ideally it's a place that's got loads of trees around. Ideally it's a place where you can take your shoes and socks off and let your toes and feet make contact with the ground. There's a lot of research around walking barefoot on grass and how that can kind of recharge your batteries a little bit. I mean, keep in mind that we're around a whole bunch of things that we could just kind of get away from periodically and just get outside and be a little more surrounded with nature and that kind of stuff. It'd be great. Going to a beach, you live near the coast, have a picnic on the beach, the waves and everything else is just super mellow. It's just a really good way to get into rest and digest out of fight or flight. I mean, everybody's got some stresses going on these days, and just enjoy yourself. Again, if you can go with somebody, great. If you can go by yourself, great. Just go and do it. Go and do it. Don't take your Kindle to read. Don't take a book. Don't take your phone. Don't take an iPad. Don't take a screen. Don't think anything's got to be plugged in. Unplug all of that and do it a thing, right? Go buy a picnic basket, get the red checker cloth, tablecloth, whatever, do it up. Go enjoy a picnic. I guarantee you your food is going to taste better. You're going to relax a lot more, and you're going to digest your meal a lot better.
Yeah. And you find a lot of cultures in the world have this attitude around at least like the main meal of the day, where they get together with friends and they're around a table, or they're outside, like you said, cafes and stuff. And there's this attitude of, okay, life, time out, dinner time, right? Whatever's at work, whatever's on the news, whatever's going on, everything, stop, don't talk to me. We're having a good meal here. This was a habit that I grew up with myself, and I count myself very fortunate. I used to think it was a pain in the butt when I was a kid, but we had family dinners, and my parents were really big, like, I don't want the world bothering me at all. No phone calls. We didn't have technology then, no TV, life, time out. We're here to eat. Gives ourselves a break. And especially now, we've got distractions all over around us 24/7. We need that more than ever. Be able to stop and just eat and feed ourselves and enjoy what we're eating. And you're right, it does make things a lot better.
Well, statistically, families that eat together, their long-term happiness is better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So definitely. I mean, I love it when the four of us are sitting at a table and we have this new thing, and there's these little cards, and it's just like a question, like family questions to ask. We get all kinds, like, what's your favorite nickname? All kinds of silly things, but it makes for a fun conversation. We're all giggling and laughing. It's just something that I really look forward to every night.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And again, when I was a kid, I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. I want to get back to my video game. But now I look
Right?
back, I'm like, oh, thank heavens we did that. We had dinner together as a family, or even just my mom and my sister or something. My dad be out of town or something, just together eating. We just don't have that enough, and it's dwindling, unfortunately. So make that a priority, people. We're dead serious about this. Good one,
Community,
Al.
community,
Real good one.
community. Thank you.
Fantastic. And our resources of the week, our last segment here, resources of the week. And again, if there's anything specific, we leave it down below in the description, and you can check those out at your leisure. But Al, what's your resource of the week here for us?
My resource of the week is akin to my fitness tip of the week. And it's something that every person, for the most part, on the planet of Earth has access to immediately, all the time. It won't cost you a dime, won't cost you anything. And that, my friend, is a 90-degree angle. Because with a 90-degree angle, you can build some serious foundational strength. So with that 90-degree angle, you can pull with kettlebell, dumbbell, sandbag, band, suspension strap, and you can hold that 90-degree angle. And if you hold it on one side, your opposite diagonal hip has to stabilize that force. Right?
So are you talking a 90-degree angle of your body, of
the elbow,
okay,
or the knee, or 90-degree angle in the elbow or the ankle, right? Get down into a squat. And you can do fire hydrant work for the hips with the knee and 90. You can do skater squats where you squat down and the back legs at 90 degree, you touch your knee on something. If you need to go a gradual descent of, maybe like 4 yoga blocks to work into 3 to 2 to 1 to eventually be able to touch the floor, then you're in business. I used to work when I was working with a bunch of cyclists. I had a class, a fitness class, and we got to the point where we were doing skater squats, and we called them dime touchers. To the point where they could touch a dime on the floor with their knee doing skater squats. And I cannot tell you what that did for the PRs these people set. It was wonderful. You could hold 90 degrees on a push-up. I mean, just 90-degree angles, people. Your imagination is your only limiting factor. Plus, if you're using a 90-degree angle, the chances are something's being stabilized isometrically, and it's just going to give you so much bang for your exercise buck. So a 90-degree angle, free, find one, use it.
90-degree at the shoulder, the elbow, the hip, and the knee. Those are the places I would go first. Typically, those are the joints that tend to do very well at that 90-degree angle. And you're right, in many exercises, that's the pain point. That's the hardest point to hold. Like you do a pull-up, come down till your elbows are at a 90-degree angle and hold that position. It's humbling. People are like, yeah, I can do pull-ups all day long. Hold that position. And then about 10 seconds, they're like, no. And they come on down. It's like,
Right. One of the things I worked up to one time, and it just, they worked so well and I got so strong, I stopped doing it. I would hold myself at a 90-degree angle in the elbows on the monkey bars. And then I would do the kind of modified L sit with my knees bent and just hold that. Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible to do, but I tell you what, man, grip strength and anterior and forget about it, man.
Well, that's coming back to what we were saying about carries. That's how you do carries body weight style. A lot of people are like, I don't have weight to do carries. I can't carry anything. You hold a position like that isometrically for body weight. That's a body weight carry.
Right.
You're carrying your body weight, basically. And then you can make it kind of funky by, you'd hold that position and then move one leg up and down or something.
Sure.
You can carry your body weight. It's not just carrying an object, it's also carrying your body weight. And my resource of the week is probably the best cardio devices ever devised by man. Actually, not devised by man at all. We didn't create them. It's hills. When it comes to being able to condition the body and burn a crap ton of calories and just making your body work at that higher level, nothing beats moving against gravity. You can have the best cardio machines. You can have the best resistance mechanisms and the latest cardio devices at the gym. Nothing beats going upwards. up a hill, up a staircase, riding up a hill, hiking up a hill, whatever. Go up, go up. Our body is fundamentally evolved to work against gravity. So when we go up hills, we're basically just changing the angle to gravity to increase that demand. So anything you can do up a hill gets a lot easier on less of a hill or flat surface. So I know that can be a little bit more challenging to some people in different regions of the world. Like my parents live in Florida, and they have in their particular, they live in Sarasota. They have a total elevation gain of like 5 feet. Meanwhile, I live out here in Denver, where elevation starts at 5,000, and we have mountains that go up to 14,000. So I have a ton of great mountains in my backyard called the Rockies. They're kind of big. But the point is, find something. It could be stairs in a stadium. It can be anything that's going up. You find up, you found something that's going to help your fitness go to the next level. And it's real easy to use. You go up. That's all it is. You don't have to worry too much about it. I always joked with my friends when we'd climb Mount Mansfield or something. Be like, how do we know we're at the top? I said, when we run out of up, that's when we're at the top. We keep going until we run out of up, and then we are at the top. So find these hills, use them, make good use. They're better than any cardio equipment you will ever use. By far, everything else that you find in the gym is just a cheap knockoff at best to a good old-fashioned hill or a mountain or something that you can go up with either your feet or a bike. All right, Al, words of wisdom to part us off for today.
Go find your hill, use your 90-degree angle. Actually, you know what? If you folks take nothing away from today's episode, what I want you to do is listen to get rid of pain. And I see the massive irony in what's going on right now. Okay. Yeah, get rid of pain. Get rid of pain. Get rid of pain. And I'll try to
get rid of
this pain.
All right, folks, I'll talk to you later. Remember, contact information down below if you have questions for future episodes. We'll talk to you next week. Till then, stay lead by example.